live. We're connected there. We're connected there. We got the little Bing saying start. Hey, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. My name is Sean Murphy, your international speaker and trainer, your guy who's working on being a better dad and a better husband, and 5-time #1 best-selling author. Stood on stage in 30 plus countries, translated into over 40 languages. It just means I've got an experience that's kind of unique. It just means that I've got an experience that's a little bit different than most. And here's why. I was a farm boy from Ohio, grew up on a farm, beef cattle farm. First semester in high school, had a 0.9 grade point average, wasn't invited back. I share that with you for those people who think, boy, you got to be smart to do this. You got to have some education. You do have to have some education. The challenge is the education that you go in school is not going to prepare you for the world you want to build. Let me say that again. The education you're about to go learn, the education you're learning, the education you've had, the majority of it is not going to prepare you for the world you want to build. I'm having conversations today with JW, and he is the gentleman who has written the Learning Code. It's a 700-page book. He wrote the Learning Code, and it's about how we have not, and I don't know, I'm not going to say we were manipulated to not activate the genes of learning, but there's 6,000 genes that need to be activated in order to learn. It's called epigenetics. The reason that you struggle, the reason that you're challenged in your life is that when you fail to activate these genes, you keep repeating the same thing over and 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 over again. So my question to you is are you tired of repeating? Drop an R in the chat if you're tired of repeating your almost wins. This conversation powered to you by Protons, the early morning, the everyday way to get maximum energy into your body. Protons. Want to learn more? Reach out to me. So, what do we do for expansion? What do we do for expansion? How do we expand? That's what this whole month is being is the conclusion of a 12-month mastermind. Follow me on this. I've just in the process of completing a 12-month mastermind. All of these videos and all of these trainings have been recorded. Well, I should say most of them when I wasn't a farm boy from Ohio forgetting stuff. And now imagine if you had access. Imagine if you had access to the audios, to the videos, to the written word. They were. What if all of the audios and videos were transcribed? So you could have them to read. Some of you would love to read. Anyways, that's another story. So let's get back to expansion. Let's get back to you expanding. Let's get back to you in this idea of preparation. What is the desire? What is the thing you're preparing for today? We call those intentions. Did you set your intentions today? If you didn't set your intentions today, you have no clue what you're preparing for. Does that make sense? If you haven't set your intentions, you don't know what you're preparing for. And then the day shows up and you say, man, today just kicked my ass. Well, I can tell you why it kicked your ass. That's not a hard thing. I don't know why you're surprised that you got your butt kicked. The question I have for you is, how long do you want to keep getting your butt kicked? It's a simple choice. Didn't say it was easy. It's a simple choice. And when you decide to make that simple choice, your life changes forever. Ever? How long? Forever. Here's the hard part: when that change shows up and when that choice is made, you want to know what the big problem is? Your old story is going to fight tooth and nail to keep it. Your self-talk is going to fight tooth and nail to keep it. Your neuroencoding is going to fight tooth and nail to keep it. All of these things that are wired in your body, 70 trillion, 30 trillion, how you pick a number. Trillions of cells are pre-wired to have your response. Pay attention. Listen carefully. If you want to. Listen, I don't give a damn. I'm doing this for me. You just happen to be along for the ride with me. And I welcome you. I'm glad you're on this journey with me, but I am not trying to teach you anything. I'm reminding myself on a daily basis. That's how powerful this is. I get up each day, set my intentions for this call, and then I do the call so I can remind myself to have a good day. Thanks for showing up. Here's the thing. You make the decision to say you're not going to do something anymore. I'm not going to fill in the blank. I'm not going to smoke. I'm not going to do this. I'm going to hydrate every day. I'm going to do my gallon of water, whatever the number is for you. I'm going to take my ketones. I'm going to not complain about my neighbor who has a wild dog. I'm not going to, and you make all of these demarcations, these lines in the sand, these decisions. Hey, Peggy from Singapore, how are you, my love? I miss you already. I'm glad you're home safe. So when you decide to make these decisions, how many of you have ever made a decision and then been distracted? Drop a D in the chat. If you've ever made a decision and then got some kind of distraction came up, and I mean, I want you to, let's not say a distraction a day later. I'm talking instantly. You make a decision and then all of a sudden a phone rings and it pulls you away. You make a decision and somebody drops something in the kitchen and you're like, oh shit, for the love of God, can I get 2 minutes? Can I get 2 minutes, please? You follow me? How many of you have had this instant decision? You're like, every time I want to do something, something shows up. Do you realize that's how powerful your old story is? That's what's keeping you from expansion. That's what's keeping you from expansion. So so you're saying that if I make the decision today, that's going away? No. If you make the decision consciously, if you make the decision effortlessly, if you make the decision emotionally, see, please, I hope I can do a good enough job of explaining this. A farm boy from Ohio. Let's see if I can figure this out. Let's see if I can do this for you. Can I give a shot? Can I give it a chance to see if I can't explain it in a way that hopefully makes sense? Maybe I don't know, maybe I'm simplifying it too much. Here's what I've been taught. You have a dream, you have a thought, you have an energy, you have a burning desire. You have a want, you have a wish, you have a desire, and you say, this is what I want. And you write it down on a sticky note. You write it out in an affirmation statement. I am. Now, on or before December 31st, I am. And you fill out the rest of that. Ladies and gentlemen, please hear my heart. That is a thought, which is awesome, which is what you need to spin up the quantum field. If you're ready to spin up the quantum field, and what I mean by spin up the quantum field, it's kind of like this. Let's see if I can. Okay, so I'm sitting here kind of in the dark. I'm kind of having some fun. I'm wanting some stuff. I go to an event and I see some things and somebody says something and this literally happens. Holy shit, I see things differently now, right? You get the light and you get the light on and the light comes on and all of a sudden you're like, I see things differently now. Wow, I'm drawn in this direction and you're drawn to this direction of light and joy and love. And you're like, that's what I want. I want more of that. Joseph McClellan III says, you want people to say, I want some of that. And you have that feeling, I want some of that. And then you write it down. You go, I'm done. Screw this. I could go home now. Drop an H in the chat if you've ever been in an event and you said, I could go home now. I could go home now. Done. Bonus time. I could go home now. Drop an H in the chat if you've ever been to that moment in your life. And then what happens is that you get fired up. You have the thoughts, 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 and you're thinking. And then all of a sudden a little stinking thinking shows up and you're like, oh, no, that's the old story. I don't want that. I'm going this way. And you go back into your thoughts and you go back and you talk to some people who had it and your body's moving, you're excited, you're feeling vibration. All you have done is spun up the lights in the quantum field, which isn't easy. Once you turn it on, it's very easy to keep the lights on in the quantum field. Here's where most people fall flat on their face and then get their ass kicked, is they don't tie emotion to it. They have the thoughts and they get excited. I'm so excited. And you're nudging the person next to you. Oh my God, this is amazing. Did you hear what I hear? I heard what you heard. Did you hear what I hear? Are you going to do what you want to do? Are you going to do what I do? and you come home with the thoughts, and you try to explain the thoughts to those who haven't been thinking in a long time, and your thinking gets attacked. Your thinking gets attacked. We haven't even talked about spinning it in and converting it into the emotional side. This is why we struggle. This is why companies have events to spin up your quantum field. Nobody is teaching the emotional side of it. Leaders aren't. You're having to figure it out on your own. It's why 2% win, the other 98% don't. It's because we spin up our brain and then we never access the emotional side of it. So what do we do, Sean? If you'd like to know what to do, write tell me. Type tell me in the chats. Good morning, Miss Tiffany. Big hugs to Logan. He is such a handsome young man. If you want me to give you some ideas of how to spin up the emotional side, type in the chat, tell me. So here's what happens. When you have those thoughts, and you get excited, we have to instantly convert it into the dream, the energy of your dream. See, we know what it would be like to have it. We don't know what it would be like to feel it, because we have this idea of time, that there is some future time. There is no future time. We have this concept that there's past time. There is no past time. There's only memory and dream. And when we do get fired up in the dream, we have all of these ideas. We have all of this logic. We activate the prefrontal cortex. We activate the prefrontal cortex. And if we're in a group of individuals, we actually activate the anterior cingulate cortex, which is a radio wave receiver and distributor that picks up on the feelings. You watch somebody on stage and everybody's in tears. It's because of the emotional state of that. And then it's not only your emotional state, it's the emotional state of the room. That's why big decisions are made at big events, because you have big rooms of people with a harmonized anterior cingulate cortex who are all wanting the same thing for themselves. It doesn't identify your want for a car and my want for a house. It just identifies the want as possible, and we can feel it emotionally. And all of a sudden we start to have the courage to take action, the preparation to expand ourselves on our own individual dreams. The challenge is that when we get back to our environment also has a radio frequency and a vibration that our anterior cingulate cortex picks up, and that puts us back in state. So how do we stay in state? You have to literally bottle up that piece, and you can bottle it up without being there right now. You can bottle it up without being there. You can go back to any motion, any place where you were highly energized and you had tremendous amounts of emotion. You can do this with negative as well. It doesn't, the quantum field of manifestation doesn't know good from bad. How many times have you heard that? It doesn't, your subconscious mind doesn't know a good thought from a bad thought. It accepts everything as true. So if understanding that we have to spin up the energy in this particular realm, we have to have the thoughts. Now we have to connect the emotions. The emotions is what allows the quantum universe, so it's what allows God to say, even the least of you can do this and more. So now all of a sudden, you ask God, you tell God, I'm tired, I'm sick, I want it, you have to do something, I can't take it anymore, this is crazy, I just don't understand it, and I need help. And when you ask for help, the whole world opens up at your feet. So now I want you to go back to a moment where you were totally energized, you were excited. I'd rather you be excited rather than trying to manifest from negative, but you can do it. It's easy enough to do, but we're not at that master class yet. We're at the master class right now of let's do it the simple way. Let's do it the easy way. Let's do it the way that you can create $500 a day. Would $500 a day make a difference in your life? See, the fact that I just threw in money, some of your train just ran off the tracks because I threw money in there. See, that's an old story. That's a story you have about money. I don't know how to make $500. How many of you just had when I said, let's make $500 a day? Some of you said, I don't know how to do that. Some of you even had subconscious thoughts that made you feel pain. If you felt pain, or if you had a negative thought, drop NT, negative thought. If you had pain in your body, show up. A knot in your stomach, drop a P. See, here's the challenge. Here's the challenge. Here's the challenge. You ready for the challenge? Is that you're not working with somebody who understands how to minimize and how to absolutely negate you having the negative thoughts. See, that's called self-talk. That's called self-talk. We're just having a conversation here about on a Zoom this morning. You're sitting in a safe place. There's no threat there. And all of a sudden I said one thing about $500 a day and you had a negative thought. That wasn't me. That was you. That was your old story showing up. That's the programming you have. That's what's in your 30 trillion cells, your 60 trillion cells of negative thought. Whenever anybody mentions money, oh, bastard. But it's not me, it's you. So do you want to fix that? That's why we have to work together. If you want to, doesn't matter to me if you want to. I'm not trying to sell you anything here, but you've just sold yourself on you have a negative thought of $500 a day. See, that's not preparing into the universe. I can get you wired up. I can get you fired up. We can have all the thoughts that you want. You can think all the thoughts you want. Kayla Cortez, oh my God, you're looking so sexy in your photos, my love. I miss you. Big hugs and kisses to Panama on Instagram. Hey, listen, and the code for the VIP room is still open to you. You know that, Kayla. So here's the thing. We have these thoughts, and then I throw in $500 a day. See, everybody's drawn to $500 a day, but nobody wants to know the formula because the formula isn't outside you. The formula is inside of you. And when the formula gets clicked inside of you, you can do it. Have you ever made $500 in a day? I would think most of you somewhere, somehow have. Here's the thing. You've been paid $500 in a day. Why not just do it daily? So you think there's an accumulation of time and energy, and at the end of the week, you'll get paid $500. You can get paid $500 today if you want. Jim Rohn said, if you want to increase your income, raise your value. So what's your $500 worth of value? What's your $500 worth of value? Well, I don't know if I'm valuable enough. I think you're valuable enough for $1 million a day. And that's when we turn it from, oh, pie in the sky, that's just dreaming. Well, I don't know how the hell you're going to get anywhere without dreaming. So here we go. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to go back. So if you can, safely, quietly, comfortably, if you can go back to a moment where you're totally energized, if you can go back to a moment where you're totally fixed and you were wildly excited and you were more excited than you'd ever been. It doesn't matter if it was a kiss. It doesn't matter if it was a romantic interlude. It doesn't matter. You were just absolutely fired up. You were wired up. You were ready to go. I want you to get that moment. I want you to bring that moment into your consciousness. I had an incredible weekend. This past weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I was around some amazing souls. I got to meet some amazing people I've only known online. And it was an absolute joy for me. So I can get wired up into that. I can get wired up. I can literally get wired up when I see people who are succeeding, people who are breaking chains, both health-wise, both mental-wise, both physical-wise, both monetarily wise. These people are breaking chains that were genetic in nature. And I get so excited for them because what happens to me is that it allows people a chance to see the opportunity. I get to tell the story about somebody who has lost 160 pounds and able to get knees and able to pick up his granddaughter again. That probably doesn't excite the living bejeebies out of you, but I can tell you, I can pull on his energy, the joy and the tears that start to flow down his face when he talks about being able to pick up his granddaughter. I know the feeling of owning a restaurant and having employees that finally got paid their worth and their value. And I had a woman come up to me, a young girl, she was probably 21 at the time, came up one day, probably around this time of the holiday season. And she just gave me the biggest hug for no reason. And you guys, for those of you that know me, I love hugs. So, and she's this tiny little thing. So the top of her head is here. And so she hugs me, she's hugging me around my waist. And I give her a hug, and because normally I bend down, right? But she didn't give me a chance to bend down. And so I'm hugging her and she's in tears and her body is literally sobbing. And I'm like, what's wrong? I'm thinking, but this is a hug, not a hug of something's wrong, something's great. And I'm like, what happened? She said, with my tips and my paycheck from last week, I was able to pay the final payment for the layaway, for the Barbie big wheel, and the bicycle for my 2 girls. When I want to manifest, that was 25 years ago, 26 years ago. And it's as if it's happening right now. So from this place, I am totally emotionally in charge. I'm totally emotionally engaged. And I can tell the universe, I want this joy. I don't have to tell it how. We don't have to get into this. We don't have to get into the strategy. That's where most of us F it up. Get out of your effing way. We screw it up when we say, oh, well, but I want it to look like this. You have no clue how good the universe can deliver you the joy you want, the thoughts you want. I'm telling you. I am telling you. I am telling you that when you get your freaking social media head out of the way, I need to have more followers out of the way, I need to be an influencer out of the way, go be you and you'll be all of those things. See, you're trying to be those things and you're not allowed to be you. That's where the discrepancy is. That's where the freaking valley of the gap you have to cover in your entire life. I know some unbelievably good things. I haven't thought about that. I probably have told it once or twice before on my morning calls, but I haven't thought about that at that level. I can't remember when. I literally felt her grab me. Is this what they call a snotty crying? It's going to take that level. It's going to take that level. I promise you, it's going to take that level of commitment. We've got to get over our freaking fear of somebody thinking, oh, you're weak. Bullshit. I dare somebody to come tell me I'm weak right now. I dare you. I double dog dare you. I will energetically love you at a level you've never been loved before. And what I will say inside my head is, aw, I love you. Look at your defense mechanism saying that's weak. Guys crying, that's weak. You're so full of crap. Your eyes are brown. You have been wired so wrong. And listen, we can unwire that. We can undo that if you want. That's what's keeping you stuck. That's what's keeping you frozen. You can't make $500 a day because you're afraid of being vulnerable. What's the story you're going to have when you make $500 a day? That's a great story. You can do that. You can use my emotion. If you got emotional watching me, wanting to be that person, to have somebody hug you and say thank you. You've had people hug you and said thank you. Here's how you disrespected them. Oh, you don't have to thank me. You don't have to thank me. Bullshit, Taki. They have to thank you. That's the only way. And then you go, you don't have to thank me. You just took the legs out from under their thanks. And so now what do they go back doing? Listen, you can feel bad right now. I'm telling you, you get the chance to change this. You have a chance to change this. When somebody says thank you, don't ever say, oh, you don't have to thank me. The hell they don't say that. I accept that. Thank you. Can I do anything else for you to get another thank you? And it livens up the situation. Whew. Boy, that's going to spin some stuff up in the quantum field. So it's that level of emotion. You've all had that. If you've got a baby, if you've ever stood and watched your baby sleep, that's the emotion. Go wire yourself into that. You want to see the flood work start? Go think about your baby when it was sleeping. Go think about your baby when it wasn't feeling well. I'm so proud of you, Tiffany. She said, Sean, every thank you is more special now. Listen, Tiffany, with some of the photos you've been posting, there's people who don't know how to thank you. You're just so ravaging beautiful. You're just so absolutely gorgeous. And when you put a little smile in there, because there's the little sultry Mona Lisa smirk in some of those photos, you add a smile and somebody gets you laughing. The world is overflowing with energy and joy, of love, of peace, of happiness. And they literally, listen, young lady, they literally don't know how to respond to you. You're this entire package. And you know, I'm not blowing smoke. I love you. And there's just all of these things about you that you hit all of the triggers. You check all of the boxes, young lady, and you check all of the boxes. And the challenge is they've never had anybody that checked all the boxes, and they don't know what to do when they check all the boxes. So they do stupid guy things. They do stupid lady stuff, and they wind up trying to be the crab in the bucket that pulls you back down. They don't know. They haven't learned how to speak any other language. They haven't learned how to be truly giving and falling fully in love with you without losing their soul. So, and I know you know that. I'm just saying, love them even harder. You're in a profession sometimes where you serve people where they think you owe them something. And I know you know this, and especially in New York, you have the ability to change it. You have the ability to bring joy and happiness. And yeah, sometimes they're going to do stupid stuff, but like a little lost dog on the highway, you can feel sorry for him and not have to take him to the Humane Society. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. There's the conversation for today. And Tiffany, if you ever want to join us in the VIP side, just ask Daniela or Erica or somebody or RC. They'll give you the link. I would love to have your wild ideas and concepts and your creativity. You're always welcome in the family. So just ask any one of them for the link, and they'll give it to you. That it's my gift to you, and you would be a gift to all of us. So thank you. Hey, Casey, good to see you. Glad you're home, young lady. Glad you're home. Glad you're back in the swing of things. So love you tons. It was an honor and a privilege to meet you too, Casey. So that being said, I'm going to end the Zoom here. And Casey, you can reach out to anybody. You're already in the VIP group. Yes, I got too many screens of chats going on here, which is, for a farm boy from Ohio, fascinating, and I love it. Thank you all for letting me get a little emotional this morning. A lot emotional. It allowed me a chance to publicly spin up my energy field in the quantum field at a level I haven't spun it up in a while. So I'm grateful for that. So thank you. So that being said, I appreciate y'all. Love you tons. If you want to hear a topic, if you would like to hear a meditation or a meditation about a particular area in your world, a particular meditation in your life that you would like, a customized, created meditation for you that I can serve the world with, please let me know and I'll do that. And what I'll start doing is probably doing some live meditations on IG for you guys, just to be of more service to those who want it. So I love you tons. I appreciate you. I am your head emotionally interior singular cortex activating misfit. I'll see y'all where? At the next event. Check the links in the bio. I appreciate you. Love you tons. Rocks with Ryan. Love you too, brother. Appreciate you. Y'all have a great day. Thank you for making my world better. I appreciate you. Paul, good to see you, brother. Talk to y'all soon. Bye for now. And YouTube, love you tons. Appreciate you. And can't wait to see the comments on this one. The little teary-eyed face. Woo! I love you bunches. Until tomorrow. Oh, tomorrow's Saturday. Until the next day. Oh, stop live stream. I'm like, did I not live stream? I love you tons. I appreciate you, YouTube. I'll see y'all where? At the next event. Till then,